At 72, Robert thought the most vibrant years of his life were behind him. After his wife passed away, his days grew quieter, his nights restless. Sleep became a struggle, and concerns about aging and declining health crept in. He often found himself lying awake, feeling like he was slowly losing a part of himself. Then, one day, a conversation with his doctor changed everything. "Robert, do you know that maintaining sexual activity, even solo, can actually improve your health?" He chuckled at first, thinking it was a joke. But as his doctor explained the science, how it helps protect the prostate, supports heart health, reduces stress, and even improves sleep, he grew curious. And to his surprise, just weeks later, Robert noticed a remarkable difference. He felt more energized, his sleep improved, and his mood lifted. So, what exactly happened? Could a simple habit really have such powerful benefits? In this video, I'll break down 6 science-backed reasons why staying sexually active in your golden years is the key to a healthier, happier life. Stay with me until the end to discover how this natural act can help you embrace aging with vitality. Number 1. Protecting your prostate. Robert had never given much thought to his prostate. Like many men, he assumed that frequent trips to the bathroom at night, a slower urine stream, and occasional discomfort were just part of getting older. Nothing alarming, just the natural course of aging, right? But as the months passed, the small inconveniences turned into real frustrations. He found himself waking up 2, 3, sometimes even 4 times a night just to relieve himself. He would lie awake afterward, staring at the ceiling, wondering if this was his new reality. Sleep deprivation made him groggy during the day, and the constant worry about his health weighed on his mind. It wasn't until one particular night, after yet another restless evening, that Robert finally decided to bring it up during his next doctor's visit. He expected to hear the usual, "It's normal at your age," or "Just drink less water before bed." But instead, his doctor asked him something unexpected. "Robert, how often do you ejaculate?" Robert blinked. The question caught him off guard. He hesitated before mumbling something about how, since his wife passed, intimacy had become, well, less of a priority. He wasn't sure if he was even supposed to think about it at this age. The doctor nodded knowingly. "I understand. But here's the thing. Your prostate doesn't stop needing care just because you're older. In fact, staying sexually active, even if it's just with yourself, can actually help keep your prostate healthier." Robert sat up straighter. "Really? How?" His doctor explained that the prostate is like a small but essential pump in the male reproductive system. It produces fluid that nourishes sperm, and when ejaculation happens, that fluid is released, flushing out toxins and old stagnant substances. But when a man goes long periods without releasing that fluid, it can build up inside the prostate, causing congestion and inflammation. And that's when trouble starts. The science behind its studies have shown that men who ejaculate regularly, whether through intimacy with a partner or self-stimulation, have a significantly lower risk of developing prostate cancer. One long-term study even found that men who ejaculate at least 21 times a month have up to a 33% reduced risk of prostate cancer compared to those who do so less frequently. Why? Because ejaculation clears out toxins, improves circulation, and keeps the prostate functioning smoothly. Without regular release, the prostate can become inflamed and swollen, leading to conditions like benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate that makes urination difficult and uncomfortable. And let's be honest, no one enjoys feeling like they need to go to the bathroom all the time, only to stand there waiting for something to happen. The turning point for Robert. As his doctor continued explaining, Robert thought back to the nights he spent tossing and turning, the frustration of interrupted sleep, and the growing worry that something wasn't right. And then he thought, Could something as simple as this really help? So, he decided to give it a try. It wasn't easy at first. He had spent so long believing that sexuality was something that faded with age, something he wasn't supposed to think about anymore. But as the days passed, he realized that his doctor had been right. Within a few weeks, he started noticing subtle but undeniable changes. His nighttime bathroom trips became less frequent. His bladder felt more in control. The discomfort that had started to become a regular part of his life gradually eased. And beyond just the physical benefits, something else changed. His mindset. He no longer felt like he was just waiting for his body to deteriorate. Instead, he felt like he had a say in how he aged, in how he took care of himself. He began to see his body not as something that was declining, but as something that still deserved attention, care, and respect. Taking care of your body. At any age, I want you to take a moment and really think about this. How often do we neglect parts of ourselves simply because we assume they're no longer important? The truth is, your body doesn't stop needing care just because you're older. Your prostate still functions. Your circulatory system still depends on movement. Your hormones still play a role in how you feel, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And just like how we brush our teeth to prevent cavities or exercise to keep our hearts healthy, taking care of our reproductive health is just another part of maintaining overall wellness. If you've been experiencing any of these common prostate issues, frequent urination, discomfort, or even just a feeling of sluggishness in that area, it might be worth considering whether your body simply needs a little more attention. A small habit, a big difference. For Robert, the change was eye-opening. What started as a hesitant experiment soon became a simple but powerful habit that improved his quality of life. He slept better, felt more in control of his body, and carried himself with a quiet confidence that he hadn't felt in years. And he's not alone. Countless men over 60 have experienced similar benefits simply by maintaining this natural function of the body. So if you've ever wondered whether it really makes a difference, I'm here to tell you. It absolutely does. Your prostate will thank you for it. Your sleep will thank you for it. And most importantly, you will feel the difference. So take care of yourself. Treat your body with the respect it deserves. And remember, getting older doesn't mean giving up on feeling good. Now that we've covered how this habit protects your prostate, let's move on to another surprising health benefit: how it can boost your heart health and even lower your risk of heart disease. Stay with me. You won't want to miss this. Number 2, improving heart health. Robert hadn't always thought about his heart. For most of his life, it had done its job without complaint, beating steadily, keeping him moving, fueling his long walks with his wife, his weekend projects in the garden, and the occasional pickup basketball game with his grandkids. But over the years, something had changed. Lately, he found himself getting winded more easily. Climbing the stairs left him short of breath. His hands and feet sometimes felt colder than usual, and he'd catch himself feeling sluggish in the afternoons, even after a full night's sleep. Then there was his blood pressure, which had crept up slowly but surely. At his last checkup, his doctor had mentioned that while it wasn't dangerously high yet, it was something he should keep an eye on. She had suggested the usual: exercise more, eat well, reduce stress. Robert nodded along, promising to do better. But one thing stuck with him. His doctor had casually mentioned, and staying sexually active, even solo, can help support cardiovascular health too. Robert almost laughed. What does that have to do with my heart? As it turned out, a lot more than he realized. How sexual activity benefits your heart. Here's something not many people talk about. Sexual activity is like a natural workout for your heart. Every time you engage in intimacy, whether with a partner or on your own, your heart rate increases, blood flow improves, and your blood vessels expand, much like they do during light to moderate exercise. In fact, studies have found that men who engage in sexual activity regularly tend to have lower blood pressure, better circulation, a reduced risk of heart attack and stroke. One study even showed that men who have sex or self-stimulate at least twice a week are at a significantly lower risk of developing cardiovascular disease compared to those who do so less frequently. And it makes perfect sense when you think about it. Your heart is a muscle, and like any muscle, it benefits from regular activity. When blood circulates properly, it delivers oxygen and nutrients to your organs, prevents plaque buildup in your arteries, and keeps everything working smoothly. But when circulation slows down, problems begin. Poor blood flow can lead to high blood pressure, cold hands and feet, fatigue, and even erectile dysfunction, which, believe it or not, is often an early warning sign of heart disease. So, in a way, staying sexually active isn't just about pleasure, it's about keeping your heart strong and your blood flowing the way it should. Robert's wake-up call. For Robert, hearing this was eye-opening. He thought back to how much slower he'd been feeling lately, how he sometimes felt his heart pounding a little harder than usual after mild exertion. He wasn't the kind of person who ignored his health, but he also wasn't the type to immediately take up running or join a gym. But this was something simple, something natural, and something he could do without needing fancy equipment or a strict routine. So, he decided to take his doctor's advice to heart, literally. Over the next few weeks, he made a conscious effort to be more in tune with his body, to pay attention to how he felt before and after moments of intimacy, even if it was just with himself. And slowly, he started to notice changes. His energy levels improved. The sluggishness that had crept into his afternoons faded. He wasn't getting winded as easily, and he even felt warmer, more comfortable in his own skin. But the real proof came at his next doctor's appointment. When they checked his blood pressure, it had stabilized. It wasn't perfect, but it was noticeably better. His doctor smiled and said, "Whatever you're doing, Robert, keep it up." And he did. Because for the first time in a long while, he wasn't just trying to not get worse, he was actively feeling better. Blood flow, the key to a healthier life. The truth is, our circulation impacts everything, not just our heart health, but our energy, our sleep, and even our cognitive function. When your circulation is poor, your body slows down. Your brain doesn't get as much oxygen, making it harder to focus. Your muscles don't get the nutrients they need, making movement feel heavier and more tiring. But when your circulation flows freely, you feel more alive. So if you've been feeling sluggish, if your hands and feet get cold easily, if your energy just isn't what it used to be, pay attention to your blood flow. Because the simple truth is this: your heart needs movement, and sometimes the best kind of movement is one that feels completely natural. Taking control of your health, one step at a time. Robert's story isn't unique. So many men, as they age, slow down, not because they want to, but because they believe it's inevitable. And sure, we all change as we grow older. Our bodies aren't the same at 70 as they were at 30, but that doesn't mean we have to accept decline without a fight. Taking care of yourself isn't about grand gestures. It's not about suddenly running marathons or going on strict diets. It's about small, consistent actions that add up over time. And sometimes, that means embracing the things that make you feel good, because, as science shows us, feeling good and staying healthy often go hand in hand. So if you've ever wondered whether maintaining intimacy, whether with a partner or on your own, really makes a difference, let me assure you, it absolutely does. Not just for your heart, but for your overall well-being. And if you don't believe me, just ask Robert. He'll tell you he feels better than he has in years, and you deserve to feel that way too. Coming up next, now that we've talked about how intimacy can protect your prostate and strengthen your heart, let's dive into another critical benefit: how it improves bladder control and reduces prostate-related discomfort. This might surprise you, but maintaining a healthy pelvic floor can make a world of difference as you age. Stick with me, you won't want to miss this. Number 3. Improving bladder control. Robert had always been the kind of man who prided himself on his independence. Even as he aged, he wanted to do things on his own. No extra help, no special accommodations. But over the past few years, something had started to change. It began with small inconveniences. A few more trips to the bathroom at night, a slight urgency during the day that hadn't been there before. At first, he brushed it off. It was just part of getting older, right? Then, those small inconveniences became bigger frustrations. Some nights he'd wake up 3, 4, even 5 times just to use the bathroom. It wasn't just about losing sleep. It was the annoyance of constantly feeling like he had to go, only to stand there waiting for something to happen. The worst part? It made him feel out of control of his own body. He had spent his life making decisions for himself, being self-sufficient. But now, his bladder was calling the shots. It dictated when he could sleep, when he could sit through a movie, even when he could go out without worrying about whether there'd be a restroom nearby. And for a man like Robert, that was a hard thing to accept. At one of his checkups, he finally voiced his concerns. "Doc, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I have the bladder of an old man." His doctor chuckled and said, "Robert, you are an old man." Robert rolled his eyes. "You know what I mean. It's getting worse. Is there anything I can do?" And that's when he learned something that completely changed the way he looked at his bladder health. The role of pelvic floor muscles in bladder control. What Robert didn't realize, and what most men don't think about, is that the muscles that control your bladder are just like any other muscles in your body. And just like how your legs get weaker if you don't use them, your pelvic floor muscles, the ones responsible for bladder control, can weaken over time if they aren't engaged regularly. That's when problems like frequent urination, difficulty emptying the bladder completely, sudden urgency, accidental leakage start to appear. But here's the good news. Just like any other muscle, your pelvic floor can be strengthened. And one of the most natural, effective ways to do this? Regular sexual activity, including self-pleasure. How sexual activity strengthens bladder control. Each time you engage in intimacy, you're not just experiencing pleasure. You're exercising the muscles that support your bladder, the same way you would strengthen your arms by lifting weights. During sexual activity, your pelvic floor muscles contract, helping to keep them strong and functional. Blood flow increases to the pelvic area, promoting better muscle health. The process of ejaculation itself acts like a natural workout, improving coordination between your brain and your bladder. And the science backs it up. Studies show that men who engage in regular sexual activity have better bladder control and are less likely to suffer from urinary incontinence as they age. Simply put, the more you use it, the better it works. Robert's experiment. When Robert's doctor explained this, it clicked. He had spent months feeling like his bladder was betraying him. But in reality, his body was simply responding to inactivity. So, much like how he had taken charge of his prostate health and heart health, he decided to put this theory to the test. And what happened? Well, it didn't change overnight. But within a few weeks, he started noticing small improvements. He wasn't waking up as often at night. When he did feel the urge to go, it wasn't as intense. He felt more in control, less like his bladder was dictating his schedule. And over time, those small improvements added up. A month later, he realized he had slept through the night for the first time in years. No interruptions, no frustration. He woke up feeling refreshed, not exhausted. And most importantly, He felt like himself again. Why this matters more than you think. For a lot of men, bladder issues aren't just physical problems, they're emotional ones too. Because when you don't have control over something as basic as when and where you use the restroom, it affects your confidence. It makes you hesitate before going on long drives. It makes you second-guess social events. It makes you feel older than you actually are. And that's why this matters. Taking care of your bladder isn't just about avoiding inconvenience. It's about maintaining your independence, your confidence, and your quality of life. And the best part? It doesn't require medication. It doesn't require surgery. It doesn't require complicated routines. It just requires paying attention to your body and giving it what it needs to function at its best. A simple change, a big difference. Robert had spent years assuming his bladder issues were just part of aging, something he had to accept. But the truth was, his body wasn't failing him. It just needed a little help. And by making this small, natural change, he didn't just improve his bladder health. He improved his sleep, his energy, and his confidence in his own body. Now, he no longer plans his outings around restroom availability. He no longer wakes up every 2 hours feeling frustrated, and he no longer feels like his age is something holding him back. And the best part? This isn't just Robert's story. This can be your story too. Taking control of your health, one step at a time. If you've been dealing with bladder issues, I want you to ask yourself, how often am I waking up at night to go to the bathroom? Do I feel like I have to go more often than I used to? Am I losing confidence in my body's ability to function the way it should? If the answer to any of those is yes, then know this: you're not stuck with it. You don't have to just accept it as an unavoidable part of aging. Because your body, no matter your age, still has the ability to improve, strengthen, and heal itself. And sometimes, the key to better health isn't found in a prescription bottle. Sometimes, it's found in the simplest, most natural things. And this is one of them. Coming up next. Now that we've talked about how staying sexually active can improve bladder control, let's talk about something just as important: how it can boost your mental well-being, reduce stress, and even lower your risk of depression. Because taking care of your body isn't just about physical health, it's about how you feel on the inside too. Stick with me. You won't want to miss this. Why this matters for you. Let's be honest. Aging comes with its fair share of challenges. Life slows down. We lose people we love. Our bodies don't always work the way they used to. And stress? Stress doesn't go away just because we have more time on our hands. If anything, it can get worse. Because the truth is, many men struggle with feeling disconnected as they age. They struggle with loneliness, with stress, with the quiet weight of thoughts that never seem to slow down. And far too often, they assume it's just part of getting older. But it doesn't have to be. Because the same way you take care of your heart, your prostate, and your muscles, you also need to take care of your mind and your emotions. And sexual activity? It's one of the simplest, most natural ways to do that. It's not about age. It's not about having a partner. It's about understanding what your body needs and giving yourself permission to take care of it. What you can do today. If you've been feeling more stressed lately, if you've been struggling with restless nights or anxious thoughts, if you found yourself feeling disconnected from life, from yourself, I want you to know this: you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not powerless. Because sometimes the answer isn't in a bottle of pills or a drastic lifestyle change. Sometimes it's in the small, natural things. The things we've been conditioned to ignore. The things that society tells us are not important as we get older. But your health is important. Your happiness is important. And taking care of yourself fully, completely, without shame or hesitation is one of the best things you can do. At conclusion, taking control of your health, one small step at a time. Robert never thought much about the small habits in his daily life. Like many men, he assumed that changes in his body, poor sleep, lower energy, frequent bathroom trips, and occasional stress were just part of aging, something inevitable, something to accept. But through his journey, he discovered something unexpected. His health was still in his hands. By making one small change, embracing intimacy as a part of his self-care routine, he noticed remarkable improvements. His prostate felt healthier, his sleep improved, his heart felt stronger, and most importantly, his confidence returned. And this isn't just Robert's story. This is something every man over 50 can experience. We've talked about how this simple habit can protect your prostate, strengthen your heart, improve bladder control, lower stress, and even help you sleep better. It's not just about pleasure, it's about giving your body what it naturally needs to function at its best. Now it's your turn. Take a moment to ask yourself, have you been feeling more tired lately? Are you waking up multiple times at night to use the bathroom? Have you noticed higher stress levels or more difficulty sleeping? Do you feel like your body isn't as strong as it used to be? If the answer is yes, then this is your sign to take action. Because the truth is, aging doesn't have to mean decline. It doesn't mean losing control of your body or feeling less like yourself. It means adapting, learning, and embracing the habits that help you stay strong, energized, and confident. Tanked, you are not alone. If you've ever felt frustrated with your health, if you've ever wondered whether things could be different, let me remind you, you're not alone. There are millions of men just like you, men who are realizing that they don't have to let age define how they feel, that they have more control over their health than they thought. And so do you. So let's change the way we think about aging. Let's stop believing that decline is inevitable and start seeing it for what it really is. A new stage of life where you still have the power to feel your best. One simple action, a lifetime of benefits. Aging well isn't about doing drastic things, it's about small, intentional choices, like maintaining intimacy, staying active, eating well, and prioritizing rest. And if something as simple as this one habit can help you feel healthier, sleep better, and protect your body, why not try it? Because at the end of the day, this isn't about changing who you are. It's about staying true to yourself, strong, independent, and in control of your health. Let's keep this conversation going. If you found this video helpful, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you noticed any of these changes in your life? Do you have any health tips that have worked for you? Share your experiences in the comments below, because your story might help someone else on their journey. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe for more health tips designed for men like you. Like this video if you found it valuable. Share this video with someone who might need it, because aging isn't about slowing down. It's about living fully with confidence, strength, and vitality. See you in the next video.